All right, everybody. Well, we actually came up with a name.
These are the days.
These are the days.
That's the name, right?
That is the name. Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you are
Darren Jr.
And I'm Darren Sr., I guess.
Yes, you are.
Oh yeah, more than senior. So what are we going to talk about today? This is probably another free-for-all, I would think.
Yeah, we flip the script every single time on this podcast, so we just do whatever comes to mind. And but we did a little planning for this one. We want to talk about buying your first home.
Right.
So we want some tips and tricks for people that are maybe buying their first home.
Right. Yeah. Number one, it's too expensive. Don't buy.
No. That's it. And a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No, I was joking. So, we'll go over some tips in that. These glasses are fogging up, so I don't know what it is, but okay. When you get old, actually, I didn't need glasses till I was like 40, and I've got a lot of friends my age that are in what I call. I ask, are they on Facebook? Oh, I don't do social media, and you know why? Because they can't see their phones because they're in denial. Oh, I only need it for reading.
Is that why?
So then they've got this, right down in there. Look like Mrs. Tudbull. So for all you guys my age, go and get a prescription for probably some glasses because likely you'll probably need them.
Can we go back to Mrs. Tudbull?
Who's Mrs. This is Tudbull? Like, I don't know. Wasn't it a Saturday Night Live thing? Like,
oh, probably.
Mr. Bill.
Yeah, you're probably right.
First-time buyers. All right. So I wanted to share a few tips. Now, this isn't necessarily just for first-time buyers. It could also be for, if just buying in general. Few things things that you don't really think about. One of the things that we do and what most probably real estate professionals recommend is when you're going to look at houses, make sure when you're in the house, you don't say how great it is.
Okay.
I'm just going to ask you, why wouldn't you? So let's say they love the house. They go in and they go, Darren, this is great. We love it. It's exactly what we're looking for.
Right.
Why wouldn't you say that?
Because it gets their hopes up, maybe?
No, because you're probably being recorded.
Oh, true.
Right? Like when you see an Alexa there, everything you say can be used against you.
Oh, so it kills your negotiating
I've
power.
been there where I'm suddenly, you're negotiating the offer and they're like, well, the buyers like it. I'm like, they love it. And, I'm working for the buyer. The realtor's telling me word for word what they were saying in the house. So for negotiating, yes, be very careful of what you say when you're in the house.
Okay, I like that. That's a nice, that's like a new age real estate tip.
Exactly.
Right,
maybe do the opposite, say, oh, this house sucks. No, just joking. So that's the thing. Always think you're getting recorded from the outside of the house, from the inside of the house. Now, this goes for realtors, building inspectors, everything, because the new reality is we may not even know if we're being recorded. So always be careful, and especially if you're buying a house, you don't want to blow your negotiating strength by saying how much you like the house.
Fair.
So that's sort of one sort of new age thing we're dealing with.
Gotcha.
The other thing too is, it's not as apparent right now in this type of market, but in a market that's super hot.
Maybe clarify what type of market we're in right now.
We're in sort of a balanced market.
Okay.
So there's about 1,000 more listings than there were this time last year.
Okay.
So there's a lot more choice for buyers.
Right.
Interest rates have been high, so there hasn't been that much demand, but the rates have dropped.
Okay.
And they're likely going to continue to drop. So we're going to probably get more into maybe a bit more of a hotter market this sort of year coming up.
So would this be a good time for buyers right now because there is so much inventory?
I think it is. And especially like a lot of lenders today will give you like a 90-day or 120-day rate hold.
Okay.
So what that does for you is, so that sort of guarantees the rate so you can start shopping now. And let's say like I always say, never rush in to buy a house. If it feels right and, everything's saying yes, then, go for it. Don't procrastinate, especially if it's the right house. But when you're looking and, you might take you a month or two or maybe even longer to find a house. If you have a rate hold, that's going to secure the rate up to, you might even be longer than this. I'm not a mortgage broker, but might be able to get a 120-day rate hold. So the advantage to that is, you've got the negotiating strength to say, look, my clients have been pre-approved, they're ready to go.
Right.
They've been pre-qualified, and what they can do is then they put in an offer, hopefully get a great buy in the house. Now, let's say it closes in 3 or 4 months. If the rates drop, the nice thing with the rate hold is if the rates drop, you get the new low rate when you close.
Oh, okay.
If the rates go up, you're still guaranteed at that rate that you were,
See, I'm learning things on this podcast too.
Exactly. So that's the other thing. So, and what I was getting at is on the hot market, which I think we're going to head to this sort of spring, summer, and we're getting into multiple offers. Everybody's got, and we set up our clients, like most realtors, on called an auto email. And Junior, you might not even know this one, but so let's say, I say, Darren, what's your wish list? Let me ask you this. So if you were looking to buy, let's say a condo, what would be some sort of must-haves for you?
Maybe some like facilities in the condo, like a gym and
okay.
Place you can walk your dogs if you have dogs.
Very new age. Okay, sure. Okay.
Maybe close to grocery stores.
Yeah,
and stuff
so
like
proximity, underground parking probably.
Yeah, parking.
In-suite laundry.
Absolutely.
You don't want to go down the hall to do your
in-suite laundry.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we would do, and then we'd usually ask what area would you prefer. So you would pick your area, sort of give us your wish list.
Right.
So then what we do is we put that into our system, and then every day at a certain time or immediately you'll get those listings that match your criteria. So right now, let's just say, and then price point. So let's say you're looking at a condo. How many bedrooms would you say?
2 bedroom.
2 bedroom, 2 bathroom probably?
Yeah.
And you might say, well, Darren, we want to go up to, 500,000. That's sort of our max. So what we do is we put all those numbers in, and then every morning at a certain time, you're going to get all those listings, updates of anything new that's come on since the original time we set you up.
Gotcha.
So you'll get them instantly. But that's good and bad. So what's good is if it's a brand new listing and it's super hot, you're going to be the first one there. And whoever else is tech savvy or their realtors are really on top of their game, they've got their clients set up to get auto emails, you're going to see it pretty much instantly. So that first day, it can actually sell in a day. Hence what a difference a day makes. No, I'm just shameless plug, sorry. So it could sell very quickly. But there's also a downside to that, and this is what I think buyers really have to remember, is I find listings get passed over, especially in a hot market. It's just like, it's been on the market 3 weeks, it must not be a great listing. No, but remember, sometimes they might start a little bit high, they might have misgauged the market a little bit. So sometimes it's good to look at the listings that have been out there for a while.
Right.
Okay, because sometimes, it might be a month or 2 months, they've come through several price reductions. All you see is, you see the new price, but you also see 60 days on the market. So sometimes those can be the diamond in the rough.
Okay.
Because, everybody's passed by them. Because remember, everybody's on their computers and phones. So we know that one, right?
Right.
You get a new listing, they're seeing everything new that comes along. But after those new listings, after it's not a new listing, then it starts, you might miss it. So sometimes those are the ones to actually scale back and look at those ones.
That makes sense.
The other thing, and this is really important, remember to, sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words? No, dollars in real estate. But sometimes photographers do what we call a drive-by shooting. Okay. So they're literally, that's real estate. They're driving by and they basically take the picture out the window. So sometimes it's like this horrible front shot.
Right.
So sometimes, it's important to get inside the house.
Fair.
What do they say?
Just don't skip over the listing just because the pictures aren't ideal.
Because houses are like people. It's what's on the inside that counts.
You're full of quotes today. You have all of them.
Sorry. So sometimes the photograph that's used, people just look at the photographs and rule the house out.
Right.
Okay, so sometimes you want to get inside the house to have a look or at least drive by it. But often people were lazy, we're looking at our phones. Now, it's like, what do you guys use? I know you're not single right
TikTok?
now. No, where you swipe, or for all you people,
or
right?
just swiping.
Well, like if you're on a dating site, isn't it like...
True.
Is that like,
you swipe left.
Is that like use Victoria, or not use Victoria?
It's Tinder.
Oh, it's Tinder.
Tinder.
It's not, what was the other one? That the older dating site that was free that everybody...
Oh God, you're
Plenty of Fish. That was Plenty of Fish.
Okay.
Was that? What? Or
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure the swipe is a new thing for us kids with the young attention span.
Right. So the same thing in real estate.
We don't want to dive into the bio. Just swipe left, swipe
right. You're almost looking like houses, like you're meeting someone. So they're swipe, no, don't like the picture, no, don't like the picture, no, don't like the picture. But the picture doesn't always paint the picture.
Right.
Sometimes you're, better to look inside or maybe do an aerial view, because often, street view. But so don't just, sometimes picture's not always what it seems.
So let's stay on the topic of like condos, because we're talking about condos and apartment buildings. What part of the city right now would you say has the most condos and apartment buildings going up, and the most inventory for first-time buyers?
Right. Pretty much all over. There's condos going everywhere. And the great part is there's a lot of rental buildings going up. So here's my wish for the people that are saving for that down payment, is that rents will start to ease off. And I think they have a bit.
Okay.
Because what will happen is with all these new buildings that are coming up, that are going up, and a lot of them are rentals, there's going to be, in my opinion, probably a bit of a glut in the market for rentals. So hopefully, fingers crossed,
word of the
rents
day,
rents will come down, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Gotcha.
Which will give you more disposable income. So like I said, pack it away. Don't order food, delivery. So make it yourself and save for that condo or the house. So getting back to your question, where? Downtown Victoria, Langford. We were talking on the podcast the other day about
Pete Road, all those
Pete Road's like the new Manhattan almost, right?
I like it there. It's a cool area.
Okay, we're gonna divert off topic.
Okay. As we do.
I don't know if you might not remember this, but Starbucks was thinking of coming to Langford. Okay. And Victorians are like, it'll never work. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah. And so, I think, where was the first Starbucks? I'm pretty sure it was the one on Goldstream Avenue.
Probably.
Was it
or
Goldstream?
in the mall.
No,
maybe it was in West
Avenue.
Shore Mall. It's gone now. But...
Thinking Tim Hortons. Wherever the first, but I remember that where Starbucks was coming to Langford and people were like, it won't work. So
never work.
It did work, by the way.
Yeah.
Your buddy has a McDonald's, right?
Yeah, he does, Jamie. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think one of the busiest McDonald's
is the one right in Rona's parking lot.
Okay.
That's the one right beside Walmart there.
I've been there.
Constant flow. Yeah, we've all been there.
I work on my weight a little bit, so I do sometimes have the problem. If I'm over in Gordon Head showing properties, I stop at the McDonald's at Cedar Hill Crossroad, get like a slider, the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Used to be the 2 cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And then I'm passing by another McDonald's on the way home to my place in Colwood, and now I get the ice cream cone, but
not anymore.
Yeah, so no more McDonald's.
No more McDonald's.
I'm going to try. So getting back to your question.
We love McDonald's, Jamie.
We do, totally. That's great. And they have the calorie count and everything.
It's true. They're doing all the right things.
And now I get seniors coffee, right? At 60, I get,
wow.
Yeah, I know.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's sort of
good job.
Sad a little bit, but
it's okay.
So areas for condos. So a few things, what you'd mentioned, what people are looking for is, where can you walk? Because what do you think of bike lanes?
Oh, God.
Be careful. It's political.
I think riding your bike to work is a great thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Darren grew up on a mountain, so he probably doesn't ride his bike, even though he doesn't.
Didn't learn to ride a bike till I was 14 years old.
Learned how to swing a golf club.
I learned how to swing a golf club instead. But yeah, I think it's good to ride your bike as much as you can. But I don't know about all these bike lanes.
Well, they've got these bike lanes to give you room with those new concrete barricades.
Yeah.
You have to, it almost takes up another foot.
It almost does, yeah.
So, which is probably a good thing because a lot of people are texting and driving.
Yeah, everybody likes to complain about bike lanes, but at the end of the day, it's probably a good thing.
People, resistant to change. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly.
So, again, a lot of condos today, parking is an issue. So most of them come with one spot. Some condos don't have any parking. So if you're going to buy a condo that doesn't have a heck of a lot of parking, you better buy a condo that's going to be close to a bus stop.
Makes sense.
And the other thing too is make sure your condo is very walkable. Fair. Everything's around where you're gonna, because like I said, if you're gonna maybe have someone move in with you, you're gonna need 2 parking spots or maybe share a vehicle. So finding condos that will have 2 parking spots. We have a client right now looking for a condo, has to have 2 spots.
Right.
So that can be a little bit more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So pretty much all of Victoria's got a lot of new condos. West Shore is still prices are a little bit lower in the West Shore than they are in town still. But, there's new areas, Royal Bay, West Hills, Skirt Mountain, south side of Skirt Mountain, sort of the border of Bear Mountain, are building big buildings. There's actually a big tower. Well, I wouldn't say it's tower, but it's probably 14 floors. The new Bear Mountain one, which is beautiful, swimming pool on top.
Wow.
Go, if you're from Victoria, I'm thinking Finlayson Mountain. It's amazing how that's developed.
Insane.
Yeah, so that has been incredible.
So what if you're a loud family like we are? If we were in a condo, we'd get booted out of the place so fast because we play music and we like to, have fun and dance around.
Right.
So what if you can afford it, you're looking for a house?
Right.
Where would be the areas where you can still find an affordable house on this island?
It's tough. So let's just say I just sold a house. It was on a quiet street, good street in Langford. It had a full basement, nice level lot, probably 7,000 square foot lot. That was just under 800,000 it sold. Okay. So, what I would recommend there is if you're going to get into a house, if you don't have, already maybe coming out of another place where you might have some good equity, you're probably going to have high mortgage payments. So that's where I think additional accommodation can make a big difference. So put a suite in the house.
Meaning put a suite in the house. We talked about that on the last podcast. That's what you did in your first house.
Yeah, exactly. So to put 40,000 into, let's say, to build a suite in your house, the monthly payment on 40,000 in your mortgage payment would probably be $250 a month.
Okay.
But that revenue suite could generate you $1,500 a month, so really it can really help in your mortgage payment. So a lot of, especially first-time buyers or buyers that are coming out of a condo want that. They're getting into a house, but they do need a suite.
Yeah.
So like I said, remember the last podcast, do this. I want the 10 lowest priced houses with basements in all of Greater Victoria. And look all over.
Right.
Yeah. That's another thing.
Can you search those keywords right on your website?
Well, the real estate, yes, you can. And then when we set people up for instant emails, we can really tailor that to things. But here's something to remember. Often a buyer, so, we say, give us your wish list. Now, inherently, people shop for deals.
Right.
Okay, so sometimes they're unrealistic. Yeah, we want how many bedrooms would you like? Well, I'd love a 4-bedroom. How many Oh, I'd love a 3-bedroom. And we want to be in a quiet street. We want to be in Saanich East. What's your budget? Well, we want to spend $900,000. So we're going to do that search, and there's going to be like maybe one that's come up.
Right.
So don't be too specific.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? Specific. Yes, because and we all as real estate professionals sometimes make an error that somebody says, we're looking for this. So whenever somebody says, well, I'm looking to be in Saanich East, I'll also usually include the Saanich Peninsula, Saanich West, because sometimes that'll come up and they'll go, why didn't we see this? Because it wasn't on your original sort of to-do or your wish list. So we missed it. The other thing too is sometimes, I look at it this way. Remember a sales trainer was talking about, picture if I had a chalkboard or an easel, so when I ask you a question, how many bedrooms you want? I want a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom.
Right.
Okay, how many bathrooms? 2 bathrooms. And let's say by the time you're giving me all the features that you want, how many of those houses are in that price range with those features? Like maybe 1 or 2. Yeah. So we want to broaden it. So you said, Darren, we've got to have a 3-bedroom. And then I'm thinking, well, what I would do is I'd put, what if it had 2 bedrooms, but it had a basement and room to put a 3rd one? That would work, right? Right. So, and then what if it only had 1 bathroom, but there was room to put a 2nd bathroom?
So meaning when you're a first-time buyer, if you're looking for a house,
or any buyer, yes,
you need to use your imagination a little bit.
A little bit, and don't get too, specific.
Yeah.
What I would do, especially if you're price conscious, what's everything under? Let's say you're looking for a house and you want to be under $900,000.
Right.
What are things that you absolutely, or areas you absolutely don't want?
That makes sense. Okay, so do it the other way.
Yes.
Tell us what you don't want.
Exactly. Because then, the worst thing you got to do is just delete it, right? I'll send them to you. But I'd rather send it to you and you just pass on it, or like swipe, like Tinder, is it? Tinder, just swipe, as opposed to, Darren, why didn't you send me this one?
Makes sense.
Because it wasn't in the original, on your original wish list. So that's what to do, in that situation. So that's another tip as well. Sort of broaden your search. Don't get too narrow, because the right house might come along and you might not see it because it's a different area or something like that.
Sure.
So those are the things. What other things would sort of, do you have any friends that actually own houses?
I do, actually. I have a couple friends that own houses. Yeah. One friend started with a townhome, sold the townhome, moved to the West Hills.
Right.
Sold the one in the West Hills and now lives.
Okay, so the sort of bought in and then moved up. Yeah. How long ago?
They probably started buying 6 or 7 years ago.
Right.
I'd say.
Right.
And, real estate's been going up.
So it's been going up. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and I think we talked about it on the previous podcast is, make sure when you're a house is a big commitment. So make sure that, you're really sound in your relationship before getting into a house. Because my experience has been people often make big purchases. My brother, for instance, bought, the shiny new Cadillac. This was like late 90s.
Right.
Or maybe, bought the new Cadillac and then, why did you buy this Cadillac? And, we just love it. And then, 2 months later, they're divorced. So, that's so terrible.
Grim. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Makes sense. Yeah. So you just want to be really kind of make an educated decision on where you're at in life and make sure all of your eggs are in a row before you go and make the big purchase. Right. So you bought your first house for $60,000. We talked about this on the last
62.5.
62.5.
85.
In 85. And you said that same property this day would be worth
$900,000.
Do you think if we were to buy a house now at this time, and then this is probably an impossible question to answer, but if you were to fast forward another, has it been like 30 years since you bought your first house? Yes. Do you think that it would go up in the same way that it went up?
I think prices are going to continue to appreciate. It's sort of like...
because that's aggressive, 60,000 to 900,000. Like it's been 30 years, but still that's
it's a big 40.
40.
Well, since 85.
Okay, so 40 years.
40 years.
So it's not unrealistic.
You're right, and you look at my income then. I was at A&B Sound making a great living at about $35,000 a year.
Right. So
if you look at, and I bought it for $62,500. I put like 30 into it, let's say. So I was into it for about 90. Sold for 10 times. So, let's say when I was working at A&B Sound, that was an average sort of wage, maybe a little bit above average.
Right.
So that would be 10 times. So you'd be having to make $350,000. So really, real estate, is far surpassing.
Because the cat's out of the bag and people know about this place more now.
Yeah. Now remember, we don't have in Victoria the secret's out a little bit.
Right.
We don't typically get a lot of rain except for the last week. We don't get as much rain as Vancouver. We get half the rainfall Vancouver gets.
I think we take that for granted sometimes.
We do, yes.
I spent that month in Vancouver working on my golf game and I was blown away. It was in probably this time and straight rain. Right. All month, never stopped.
What happened with that?
With my golf game? It was good. It was good reps. Flush out the negativity in the brain, but now we're on the straight and narrow with golf.
So if you had to do your golf game all over again, what would you do? These are for the people that are, thinking of getting your kids into a junior membership. That's a great point. The nice thing when I joined the first commission check in real estate, the story. I joined Royal Call Golf Course back in, when I got in the biz about 92.
Yeah.
So. And then we had kids and stuff, and our daughter got her into golf. She didn't really like it as much. And then remember my wife Leanne saying, well, your son, he seems to really, be interested in it. This is when Tiger Woods had just broke onto the scene. He was a kid.
And what's funny is nowadays, getting a young girl into golf would probably be a lot easier because there's so much inspiration for them to see on TikTok with all the influencers and stuff.
So it's made it cool.
But back then, there really wasn't that. Back then, there was Tiger Woods, and it was all of us got into it because it was, he was the coolest athlete.
True, and I remember the clothes that Whitney'd have to wear, you know, for young women and stuff. The clothes were pretty like
not a lot of swag.
Not a lot of swag, right? No. So I don't want to wear that. And like, I hate golf. So
Fair.
Now it's definitely a little more cool. Women's clothes are a little more cool.
Yeah.
But you know, so one of the so Darren took up the sport at like 5, and one of the nice things, if you can get your, you know, if you've got young kids, get them to the golf course. Any of the local private clubs or semi-private clubs, Royal Colwood, Uplands, Victoria Golf Club, very amazing world-class golf courses. They have junior memberships at like $30 a month, $35 a month. And the great thing, what I loved it, I could drop Darren off at the golf course. I never had to worry about him. It was like a built-in babysitter, and they'll keep you in line.
Yeah, they will.
Like, he's a pretty good kid, but you know, if the members will keep you in line, if you're suddenly, you know, especially then they're a little bit, you know, maybe a little more relaxed now, but
but it's true, and it's good because you learn how to interact with all different ages at a, you know, at a young age, which is a good skill to have, especially in business and in real estate, right?
Right.
A lot of kids don't interact with people that are, you know, I got friends that are 60, 70, 80 years old from being a member at a golf course. So, yeah.
And that's the thing. And when you're young, you know, there's no membership fee. You don't have to actually, you're a member of the club. You've got a junior membership, which pretty much gives you all the rights as a full member. Pretty much. And, you know, for a fraction of the cost, like I said, I think at Royal Colwood, our junior membership's about $50 a month. And, you know, they have access to play the golf on all the 18 holes, the short game range, the driving range. We have clinics. So, yeah, if you want any information on that, just send me an email and I'd be happy to send you some information on that.
Totally.
But that's a great spot for, you know, kids. And, you know, most kids that grew up on a golf course end up being pretty good kids because they're just taught respect and, you know, a lot of different things. So
try to be,
try to be respectful, you know.
You asked me what I would do different.
Yes,
in my golf game.
Yes.
I think that you get to a certain level, and I got to a certain level where one of the best junior golfers in the city, and, you know, golf game's in a really good spot. But on the pursuit of getting better, you seek other ways to improve your game instead of sticking with what works and just being patient.
Right.
So my advice to probably anybody in sport, if you're at a level where you're competing in your city against the best and you're winning, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just keep doing what you do and be patient, because the more you mature, the better you'll get at the sport, the better you'll be mentally. The more experience you'll have just from playing in tournaments. It's not about changing your technique because you want to look like this person, you want to look like Tiger Woods, or you want to shoot it like LeBron. It's do what you do, master what you do, and you'll get where you want to get to.
Can you be overcoached?
Absolutely. Absolutely, you can be overcoached.
Right.
For sure. You know, there's nothing wrong with having mentors and coaches. The best in the world, typically, though, they stick with the same mentor and coach the whole way through.
Right.
Because they've known you from a young age. They know what your tendencies are.
Right.
And they can kind of keep you in your pocket. Whereas you might go to the best coach in the world, but if they don't know you, they don't know what your body's capable of doing. They might give you advice that works for their players, but it might not work for you.
Right.
Yeah, so you really gotta, you know, and it's hard in a sport like golf, especially because there's so much.
I know.
You turn on the golf channel and it's all about technique, and there's all these different ways to do it, but you know, it's almost more important to just be able to put on the earmuffs and tune it all out and just play the game because you love it.
Right, because what they say is a lot of people, if you get, and I know this by being around you, and you know, and probably in my own head. You know, I'm thinking swing instead of thinking golf. So you're out there playing swing instead of playing golf.
Right, and this can almost, it translates into business kind of too. You hear on Shark Tank, Mark Cuban talks about it, where it's like, it's not that complicated, sell.
Right.
That's what, you know, you want to, it's like they come with these elaborate plans, business plans, and this is what they're going to do.
Right.
And it's like, well, what have you done?
Right.
You know, like you'd almost probably rather hire somebody that has some experience in the field rather than somebody that has this, you know, grand plan. So just get out there and just learn from your mistakes.
Well, one of the guys that Darren can tell us a little bit about, who played, Darren's age actually was a year older, but Darren played a lot of tournaments with Adam.
Right.
Adam Svensson. Tell us a little bit about Adam and your experience with him, because you played a lot of tournaments with him.
Yeah, so it's rare for Canadians to make it to the PGA Tour, let alone Canadians from the West Coast. And Adam Svensson's one of the players that I grew up playing junior golf with. He was kind of like the Tiger Woods of
Canada.
Of
really.
Canada,
yes.
Yeah. He had a year where he won the Canadian Junior, the BC Junior, the World Junior all in the same year. So kind of the guy that was destined to make it, and he did eventually.
He got this is cool. He got a full ride scholarship to UNLV, University of Las Vegas, which had a really premier golf team.
Yeah.
But he didn't show up. And then he basically didn't have enough academic credits, because to go to the school, you still needed enough academic credits. Now, usually for, athletes like that, they make sure you have those academic credits, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So, but he didn't go, and sort of people didn't know what had sort of happened.
Okay, and this is funny. I just had this conversation the other day with a couple buddies of mine from out of town I played golf with.
Yeah.
There's a thing that goes around saying that people don't think he's smart. And that's why he went to Div 2 school, because he didn't have to. And even they're like, he's great at golf because he doesn't overthink it and this and that. But I can tell you firsthand, like, that guy knows what he's doing on the golf course. It's not that he's not smart. It's that he's got a one-track mind.
Right.
On golf.
Right.
He knows what he needs to do to improve. He worked really hard at it. He was the hardest working guy.
There you go.
The juniors.
Right. There's a little tip from Sam Walton. And do you know who Sam Walton is? You might, because of me. Sam Walton. Yeah, he started Walmart. Good one.
Let's go. Okay.
So one of his things is he just had specialized knowledge.
Exactly.
What was he good at?
Yeah.
He was good at risk taking and just doing it. He could hire people with other specialized knowledge to grow the business, to the accountants and merchandising and everything.
Yeah.
He just had that sort of, basically the balls to just get out and do it.
Exactly.
So it's like that. You don't need to know everything. And a lot of golfers, they say that too. Good golfers often are pretty tunnel vision or they play dumb. When I say they play dumb, is they can't really remember a bad shot. Right, that's good Bob Rotella. They remember the good shots.
Right, he was very well trained in that way.
Yeah.
Where to somebody from the outside looking in, he just looks carefree. Like he's just has enough experience. Right. He knows how to win.
Yeah. So here's what happened. I don't know if you know this, but the golf coach at Div 2 school at Barry University in Florida was looking, because he needed to, fill his roster. And he noticed that Adam Svensson hadn't been signed to a college. And he thought, what? He saw him at Torrey Pines, where he won the World Junior, and he couldn't believe Adam Svensson didn't get signed. Now, to go to a Div 2 school, you didn't quite need the academic credits. They flew Adam down there, and he was in Barrie for the next, I think, 2 years.
Yeah, he won everything.
He won 8 tournaments, and he got the Jack Nicklaus Award and the Phil Mickelson Award for the best collegiate golfer in Div 2.
Right.
And then, so he then turned pro, I think, so he left college after the second year. His first 3 mini tour events, he won them. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
10 grand, 10 grand.
If you know golf, that's an insane accomplishment, because these mini tours are probably some of the hardest. You hear the commentators on the PGA Tour talk about how difficult the mini tours are.
Totally.
Because you get all sorts of different players. You get maybe a PGA Tour player that's in their off season coming to play.
Right.
You get players that have lived in that specific area their whole lives, know those golf courses inside out, that play. Right. And for him to just turn pro, win 15 grand, 15 grand, 15 grand, just like that in 3 weeks.
10.
Was it 10? Are you sure it wasn't 20? I think it was something crazy like that.
All right.
Anyway.
Split the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
He won,
like I said, 15.
So then what happened? So then he went on to the Canadian Tour, PGA Tour Canada. He played in Vancouver, came in second. I think he was in a playoff for the win.
Right.
Then a lot of us got to see him in Victoria when he played at Uplands Golf Course for the Times Colonist,
now the Bayview.
Now the Bayview, and now the... forget the sponsor now.
DC Bank
and Royal Bay or Royal Beach.
Royal Beach,
that's it.
Yes, good one.
If you want to see Royal Beach listings, but shameless plug, go to darrenday.com. So we saw him there, and then from there, normally you would play the whole year on the Canadian Tour, but basically his status got him to play on the, I think then it was called the Web.com or Corn Ferry Tour, which is one below the PGA Tour. And within 2 years, he was actually on the PGA Tour and got his tour card.
Right.
Then, after a year, you've got to, I think, maintain the top 125. He fell out of that, and he lost his tour card.
Had to go back to the Web.com.
Yes, geez, it's like a bra strap here, holding up my pants. Yeah. Just like, okay. Am I all together here? Tell me.
You're good. You're on. You're locked in. You're locked in.
So then you lose your tour card. Now, everything it's a perspective. Like, to make it to the bigs, which he did, and then to lose his card would have been devastating. So then he sort of eked it back out on the Corn Ferry Tour for the next 2 or 3 years. He won an event, got us back to the PGA Tour, which he played last year, maybe the year before. He won last year. So he's been now on the PGA Tour for 3 years. And basically from a kid that, just from Vancouver.
Yeah.
He made top 70 in the world last year. And probably, he's a name to watch out for. But all started likely in a junior golf program in Surrey, because that's where he used to walk a lot of courses with his dad when I was watching Darren and him play. And if you live by one of these golf courses, sign up to be a junior member, because it's a great spot and it's very affordable. So
100%.
Forgot how we got onto the golf topic, but
we just love golf.
Right. So
this will be the buyer's episode, buying a house and golf.
Getting a junior membership.
Yeah. And some tips and tricks because a lot of the stuff that I learned in golf relates to life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, with putting in the work.
Well, name something. Put you on the spot. What would be something that I'm trying to think? What would be like life?
Patience, not getting angry.
Because
a lot of people get frustrated on the golf course, but
I don't think you've ever thrown a golf club, have you?
I've never thrown a golf club.
You dropped a few F-bombs, but
No. Well, what junior golfers always start a little bit angry,
right?
Because they put such high expectations on themselves. But you start to realize that as soon as you get mad, you lose it.
Right.
And that's kind of the same thing in sales, right? If you're working with clients,
yes.
You can't get flustered. You have to be the voice of reason. You have to stay calm, because they're making maybe the biggest purchase of their life and emotion is involved, and you got to be the voice of reason sometimes too.
Here's something and you've heard me say this a lot, because real estate's it's a constant emotional roller coaster. Geez, we bought our first house, and Darren, thanks so much. Or we're division of marital assets, and we don't like each other, we want to sell. Or mom's passed away. So there's lots of highs and lows.
How do you stay
by how do I stay even?
Yeah.
When stuff happens and things go awry, I say this. It's a mantra. Yeah. Hot dog, everything's going normal.
I've heard that one a few times.
Yeah.
I love that quote though.
Yeah. Hot dog, everything's going normal. Yeah. That was a Floydism.
Floyd Wickman.
Yeah, Floyd Wickman, which was Sweat Hogs that I took. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about Sweat Hogs. So Sweat Hogs was a training course that was for real estate agents. And it was based on the old 70s show. This is before your time, but people my age would have remembered Welcome Back, Kotter.
Okay.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. So Welcome Back, Kotter was a show, and who is in? Vinny Barbarino. If you remember Vinny Barbarino.
These names, there's no way.
Remember, we can't slam down on here too much, because probably it's like
a bit of an
yeah, we're having a bit of an earthquake here.
I'm excited.
Yes. Vinny Barbarino. So Vinny Barbarino, for who Vinny Barbarino is. Vinny Barbarino is John Travolta.
Oh, okay.
So he got his start from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Wow.
So he went from, and then after Welcome Back, Kotter, he did Grease with Olivia Newton-John.
Nice. Which
was like the biggest movie of all time. At least I think so.
It's pretty epic. Biggest musical of all time.
Yeah, so that whole show, Welcome Back, Kotter, was a bunch of average to below average students, and it was set, I think, in New York City, in this classroom, and it was how, like I said, people in dire straits, and just like I said, really, had this teacher that believed in them and showed the principles. So how we can all sort of work as a team together, each achieve more sort of
so
principle.
That's what Floyd Wigman was?
Yeah, so what they would do is they would fly in. We had a trainer, good friend of mine, Stephen Pocenti. I'll give him a shout out, Steve. Now in real estate, finally. He trained us for like 40 years, and now he's selling real estate in Vegas. But he would fly into town every week, and it was like, I think it was an 11-week program. And so they'd give you, it was quite interesting. So the first session, it would run basically from 9 to 3. And so you'd have to come up, you'd form teams. So there'd usually be 40, 50 students, new realtors in the program. And everybody would have their class, you'd have to do your class song.
Okay. I like that.
Right? And then you also had to get a listing every week. And if you didn't, you had to wear this cap that says, no, but did you get a listing? No, but I will. And it was like,
that's cool too.
Yeah, it was like a cap you'd have to wear.
See, that's one of those things where nowadays that would never happen.
What?
Because you're singling out somebody, and it's not nice to single out somebody. But I like that message on there.
Well,
it's not like a dunce cap sitting in the corner. It's like, I haven't got one, but I will. It's
right,
motivation.
and it was all in fun. And then what they would do at the beginning of each session, which was once a week, you'd have the star story. Right. So the groups, and there usually be 5 groups, you would elect somebody that had sort of an exceptional story to tell.
Right.
So it was a star story. So you'd get up in front of the class and you would tell them what happened that day, and then the trainer, Steve, would give you a star. And it was like, it was like a silver star.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, they had songs. Like one of the songs was, Sweat Hogs will get a listing each and every single week. Saleable's the keywords to the fortunes that we seek. Listings are the way to go. Floyd's made it very clear. Success will soon be ours. Dun, 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 dun. Sweat Hogs turning into stars. Sweat Hogs turning into stars. We are making it happen. Sweat Hogs will turn to stars. Yay! And then everybody jumps down. So that was cool.
Nice.
So you'd have the star story. You'd start singing the song in the beginning. That's how everybody'd stand up and sing the song. I'm doing that again. Yes. I didn't wear a belt, guys, and I thought I would hold this to sort of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get fit though now that
you are getting fit.
Starts with the face.
Yeah.
Good. So then the sesh would go out, so the whole thing is you would try to get listings and sales. So that was the total thing with Sweat Hogs. So that's what it was sort of based on that TV show, Welcome Back Kotter.
Right.
It's too bad they don't have that today, because it was quite an effective thing to really teach you the nuts and bolts of.
Okay, so let's say, I'm sure there are programs like that you can still go to, but let's say you don't have access to them. There's tons of books you can read. Something maybe people don't know about you is you love to read. You read lots of books.
Right.
Give us 2 or 3 books if you're getting into sales that are go-tos.
Okay, I like the 1 Minute Manager books.
Right.
Those are the books they're written in grade 6 English. Not that I read it at a better level than that, but but the average person, reads at a grade 6 level.
Okay.
So these books were great, and then the books they were like a novel, paperback, and it was only half of each page had the page, so you could basically get through the book in an hour. And you've read them. Yeah. And the nice thing with those books is basically sold a message. So one of the messages that I use to this day is who moved the cheese.
Okay.
It's a story of those mice that they'd be in this maze, and they'd always go into this maze to get the cheese.
Okay.
Every day, and I think it was him, Ha, and another mice, the 3 little mice.
Okay.
They'd each go into this maze, all the way through this maze, to get this big piece of cheese. And they would every day for months and months and months. One day they got to the cheese and there was no cheese.
Okay.
So 2 of them complained and kept going back. It's going to come back. I know the cheese is going to come back. And it never did. The third mouse said that there was going to be a different way, and he found a different way. So the cheese has moved. So he just moved to where the cheese was going. So he had that was sort of that story. Because things happen. suddenly devastating things come into your life, or maybe business has changed. The way we do business has changed. You need to move with the cheese, move the cheese. Or like REO Speedwagon, roll with the changes.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
Prospect to prosperity.
Okay. I like that.
You know, be good to your, you know, follow up with past clients and friends and family and past clients. Because in real estate, it's all about relationship building.
Right.
So often, you know, I might, some clients I've had since, you know, they bought their first house and now they're, you know, I've sold several houses because we mentioned the Uncle Stu story. That, my uncle, that ended up going, you know, I think I got 6 sort of transactions from that. So keep in touch, follow up with your clientele, and do like you were saying, do read. So Who Moved the Cheese was one of the books. Another book I loved was Marketing Warfare.
Okay.
So it was the principles of war, how it relates to basically business. So there was a lot of key principles on that. So it was all about a story of like, you know, Tide or Kraft or, you know, so that was it had just really good marketing principles of war that actually related, you know, oddly to sales. And if you think of the terminology of sales, right? Like, you know, blowout deal or, you know, all those sort of, you know, all those. I'm blank.
Well, how they got all the, you know, I was watching. It's a fictional movie, obviously, but watching Captain America. Have you seen Captain America before?
No.
Okay, you have to watch Captain America.
I'm more of a Hallmark guy.
Yeah, I know, but Captain America, he goes to the war, World War II.
Yeah.
And he becomes Captain America from World War II. But everybody was so excited to go to the war because of the advertising to get people to go, like the propaganda, just to get the soldiers interested in going. So,
it's like sort of pumping up a kamikaze pilot, right? This is great.
Pretty much, yeah. It's morbid.
That's over the top
to talk about, but yeah, you know.
Or
there are parallels for sure.
Yeah, in sales, you know, we're having a blitz, a sales blitz, or you know, A&B Sound, where I mentioned it on the podcast. They were epic for their Boxing Day sales. So in those days when I started A&B Sound, there wasn't even Sunday shopping. You don't remember this, but can you believe it? In all of Victoria, there was no stores open on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, it was illegal to be open on Sunday. Yeah, that was back in like 85, 84, 83, right in that.
Wow.
Yeah, so A&B was the first to open on Sunday. So Fred Steiner, the owner, who started the business. I wasn't at A&B. I'd come to A&B about 3 years later. So that was probably the illegal shopping was probably maybe 82. I remember talking with Jamie. I'd sold his property a couple of years ago, and he was a shipper that was there right when A&B Sound opened. And so A&B Sound had their Legend Day. It wasn't a Boxing Day sale, but they had the super sale on a Sunday. And what they did, and it was on the grand opening, they papered up all the windows. And now that's sort of common practice, but they papered up all the windows and they opened on Sunday, and right away they got bylaw enforcement officers. And as they're there writing tickets, Fred's happy paying the fine and the store was packed. So that they were really the first ones to start Sunday shopping. Now today, you know, everybody's open on Sunday.
And that's probably, you know, straight out of marketing warfare, being original.
Probably.
Your marketing is you. You've always been really good at that, standing out in the crowd, right?
Right.
Which is important just to get the message across.
Right.
That's why you've done so well, because you're pushing houses in a unique way, and, you know, that's been one of your keys.
Would you say pushing out? No, it's a nice one.
Push, yeah. Wrong terminology.
My kid? Yeah, nice
terminology.
No, totally. So, you know, and going to different, that's why I sort of came up with, well, my original slogan was a day can make a difference.
Yeah, no.
Well, I was going by D-Day. I was going by D-Day, a day can make a difference.
That's the Team U version of what a difference a day makes.
Is it?
You don't know what Team U is,
No. Oh, yeah, I guess I do. Yeah, that's a web thing, right?
There you go.
You order something.
Yeah, okay, good one.
But I remember this gal from, she actually was a conveyancer at one of the law offices, phoned me and she said, you know, you should do what a difference a day makes. So if you're out there, thank you, because I did that, a long time ago.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my mantra a little bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when it looks like everybody's going one way, go the other way.
Yeah.
And sort of anticipate where you think the market's going. Now I talk about, we're going to change gears a little bit. I talk about when you're going to price a house. So let's say I go and list someone's house.
Right.
You almost have to look at where you think the market's heading, because a good price today might not be a good price tomorrow. So let's say the market price is here of a house, like this is what the market's showing, but the sellers, want to price it here higher, which is quite common,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I want to get as much money as we can. I say that's great, and let's try it, but I do let them know what can happen in a market that you think where market prices could go down. If you do that formula, it doesn't work, because if you price it here and if the market's here and you price it here, and then let's say it's not sold in the month and then you lower the price, but the market price drops. See, you never get a competitive advantage.
Right.
You're basically chasing the market down.
Right.
Okay. But in a market where it looks like it's going up, let's say if you price it here, if the market's here and you price it here on a market that's going up, given a few months, it's going to sell.
Right.
So you sort of want to, so it's okay in a market that you think's going up to price it over market price, because chances are if it doesn't sell then, the market's going to catch up the price and it'll sell. What you don't want to do, and that's what's been happening, I'd say over the last couple of years, because the market was so hot 2 years ago, you could price it here. So people were pricing it here, but the market price was here, but then the prices were sort of going down a bit. So you were lowering the price and then here.
So this would apply more to people that are in a position where they have to sell.
Yes.
Because if you don't have to sell and the market, it looks like the market's going down, then you would wait.
Right.
Would make the most sense.
So here's where sometimes this happens, and somebody that's had their house for sale, this could be, this could have happened to you, or somebody that happens. Let's say a realtor priced it too high in the beginning and the market price was here, and then they lowered the price, and then it came off the market. They either canceled or it expired. So then they call someone, and then let's just say I go there. I suddenly sell the house, okay? Now I suddenly, I priced it right where, let's say the market, they had sort of priced it here. Let's say I took it at the same price as what the last listing sold for, or what the last listing was at, where it got taken off. I suddenly list it, and then within a week it sells, or maybe a couple of days it sells, and it sells for $50,000 over the asking price.
Right.
Do you know why that would happen?
Because the market's changed?
Because the market shifted. Yeah, so that's that. And then suddenly they're saying, oh, Darren's a hero. Darren Day's a hero. I had this other realtor, couldn't sell it. Darren came along and it sold. And so I'll take a bit of credit, but sometimes it's just the market shifts. Yeah. So, if you ever want a market evaluation or anything like that, call your agent or call me.
Makes sense, yeah.
Hit that table.
Hit that table. Yeah, because in some instances, like when the market was crazy during COVID, like you're saying that, you could price it here, but it was also common to price it maybe at market or just above, because that would create multiple offers, and then sometimes it was selling for way over anyway. Right. But that's just where the more experience you have as a realtor, the smarter you can make that choice.
Right. And unfortunately, a lot of times when people sell, it's usually because something's, happened, and
so
it's financial, so they have to sort of sell it for what the market will bear. We always want to maximize the sale price if you're selling, but just sometimes the cards weren't there, or the market's changed and so forth. So
makes sense.
I think
that was a great.
Was that a good one?
I think that was a good one. Yeah.
If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. These are the days. I'm Darren Day Sr.
I'm Darren Day Jr.
Signing out.
And
remember, have your pet spayed or neutered. Thanks, Bob. And
nice one. True.
See ya. Okay.
See you guys.